This is the history of the Ottoman Empire. How the Ottoman Empire came to be established cannot be fully understood without first providing some context on the migration of the Turkic peoples out of Eastern Asia. Since ancient times, the Turks, who were themselves originally an Asiatic people, had gradually migrated from northeastern Asia and headed westwards across the vast Eurasian steppe. By the 7th century, they were in the region around the Altai Mountains, near the borders of what is now Russia, Kazakhstan and Mongolia. From there, they continued to move further south and westward in the centuries that followed, before a number of them settled into a semi-nomadic way of life in an area around the Caspian and Aral Seas. One of the main Turkic tribes that came to inhabit this area were the Oghuz. However, sometime in the late 10th century, one leader of the multiple clans that made up this tribe, a man by the name of Seljuk, decided to break off from the main tribal group and establish his own dynasty. Over the subsequent decades of the new millennium, Seljuk and his descendants laid the foundations of the Seljuk Empire by expanding into Persia. They were greatly influenced by the Persian language and culture, which they soon adopted for themselves, as well as converting to Islam. By the 1060s, they had advanced all the way up to the borders of the Byzantine Empire in western Anatolia. Sporadic clashes between the two powers eventually culminated in the outbreak of the Byzantine-Seljuk War. At the Battle of Manzikert in 1071, the Seljuks inflicted a crushing defeat on the Byzantine army, which effectively allowed them to gain control of the Near East and push deeper into what is now Turkey. Over the next 2 centuries, the Seljuk Empire gradually declined and fragmented into a patchwork of smaller Turkic states. The Turks themselves, however, continued to hold a major presence in Anatolia, notably in the shape of the Sultanate of Rum. Although this too would eventually decline and fragment by the turn of the 14th century, resulting in a number of even smaller principalities, known as the Anatolian Beyliks, scattered across the region.